Good morning. I'm delighted to be here and honored to be here with all of you here in Paris at this important time. It's an incredibly challenging time for the world, which is why I think it is so important that we're all here together, thousands of people at this conference, to talk about how do we build solutions and create change. With each passing day, the urgency of the world's problems are growing. And if you're here in this room, you clearly know what I mean. And here's what may be most frightening. Our current financial system is not only supporting the status quo, it is actually making many of our problems worse. But we're not here to talk about all that is wrong. We're here to make sure that we get it right. And I'm here to offer a different vision of the future of the financial system. A vision for a new future for capitalism. A future in which finance plays a central role in solving social and environmental problems. A future where investors integrate impact into every decision they make. A future in which our investments play a strong role in creating strong communities and a healthier planet. At the Global Impact Investing Network, or the GIIN for short, we believe that impact investing is a cornerstone of this new future for capitalism. Indeed, impact investing has become a force to be reckoned with. Impact investors come from big global financial institutions and from boutique firms that are deeply focused on impact. We're bankers, investors, we're philanthropists. We come from development and even from NGOs. We're finance people and we're advocates for sustainable development. And over the past decade, impact investing has grown into a dynamic industry. It is an industry that has engaged countless investors all around the world and has sparked the interest in even more people who are thinking about becoming impact investors for the first time. Those are big accomplishments. But the problems that we're facing are even bigger. We're battered by climate-related disasters. We just closed out another record year for global warmth. Economic inequality has led to repression and rebellion. The financial markets are volatile. And people are increasingly feeling distrust in business, in government, in media, and even in NGOs. All around us, things look dire. But I'm reminded by the words of the great Dutch philosopher Berg Spinoza, when he said, "Fear cannot be without hope, nor hope without fear." And that is the moment that we're in, a moment of great opportunity and hope, along with fear. People are desperate for something new, and systemic change is on the table in a way that it hasn't been for years. The impact investing community has a role to play in leading that change, but we have to seize this turbulent moment. We have to be bigger and bolder, but we also have to be strategic. The GIIN recently launched a 10-year action plan called our Roadmap for Impact Investing, Reshaping Financial Markets. It is a collective action plan for creating systemic change by investing in a sustainable and inclusive future. And everyone in this room and everyone at this conference has a role to play. To achieve this transformation, the roadmap has 6 categories of action. And they are: 1, strengthen the identity of impact investing. 2, fix investing behaviors and expectations. 3 is to develop new impact investment products. 4 is to develop new tools and services. 5 is to increase education and training. And finally, to enhance the policy and regulatory environment. If you haven't read the report, please do. It's all about creating systemic change, about scaling with integrity, changing the system, and establishing a new status quo. As big as the impact investing market is today, $502 billion by our latest estimates, it needs to be a lot bigger. We need to move capital at a vastly different scale. And for that to happen, we need to engage more investors. We need to launch more impact investment funds and products. We need everyone to allocate for impact. And we need to be sure that real impact is front and center for all of that capital. Almost 50 years ago, the American economist Milton Friedman published an article that changed the global economy. It was titled, quote, "The social responsibility of business is to increase its profits." Friedman believed that business owners have one and only one responsibility: to increase their profits for shareholders without any regard for social and environmental consequences. And that idea has become the source code of capitalism for the last 50 years. It's enshrined in law, in doctrine, in precedent, and in culture. But today, we can no longer afford to pay the social and environmental price of that narrow philosophy. And more leaders are catching on. Last autumn, more than 180 global leaders that are part of the Business Roundtable, some of the world's largest companies, made a commitment to a new definition of the role of business. A definition that is a signal and a shift from focusing only on shareholders to serving all stakeholders. Just a few weeks ago, the world's largest investor, the asset manager BlackRock, announced its intention to put climate at the center of its investment strategy. Now, words are not the same as actions, but these global leaders are acknowledging their responsibility for the long-term impact of their decisions on all stakeholders. And that is a measure of how far we've come and also a signal to where we're going. We're not just building an impact investment market. We're building a movement to make impact investing the new normal and to hold business responsible to all of its stakeholders, including the earth. To do that, we need billions of people to think and act differently. If we want systemic change, and we do, if we really want to transform the markets, we have to get everybody on board. I've been thinking a lot lately about what unifies all of us. All the people in this room, at this conference, and our peers all around the world. How can we join together as a force that calls for change? What is it that unifies us? A vision for fostering widespread change. I envision a world where the financial markets play a powerful role in solving social and environmental problems, where they serve all members of society. And in this future, investors integrate impact into all decisions, building strong communities, a healthy environment, and a sustainable future for all people. That vision has tremendous power, but we have to support that vision with our actions. We have to become ambassadors, educating everyone we know, recruiting people to impact investing, talking about how to align our money with our values, and inspiring people to seek positive impact through how they earn, save, spend, and invest their money. One place where we need to put more money is behind the UN Sustainable Development Goals. All member states made a commitment to realizing the SDGs. And with just 10 years to go on this important global agenda, the United Nations is already sounding the alarm that we're at risk of not achieving the goals because of a financing gap. The UN estimates that we need $3 to $5 trillion annually to achieve the SDGs. That's $3 to $5 trillion per year. That doesn't need to all come from impact investing. The public sector and civil society are essential. But we cannot expect to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals if the world doesn't invest differently. We cannot afford for capital to underperform. The stakes are just too high. We've made a lot of progress, but it's impossible to overstate the urgency of the problems that we face. We need to create a multiplier effect. We need to keep educating, recruiting, and building the power of the impact investing movement. In this moment, when fear feels so pervasive around the world, I'm reminded of the words of the Pulitzer Prize winning poet and environmentalist Gary Snyder. He was responding to someone who asked him about his thoughts on the climate emergency. It's advice that might surprise you coming from an environmentalist. He said, don't feel guilty. Guilt and anger and fear are part of the problem. If you want to save the world, save it because you love it. I'm doing this work because I love this world and all of its people. And I want my daughter and all the world's children to grow up into that more inclusive, more sustainable future. And so together, we must keep pushing, keep building, and keep accelerating our work to show the world a better way. Thank you.